Today's lesson, section 4.6. Our objective is to write the equation of an arithmetic sequence. So that's the way you say that word, arithmetic. It's not arithmetic, but it is kind of similar to that. Let's look at the problem that we have first. Then we'll talk about how this is going to be done. It says write an equation for the nth term of the sequence given, 14, 11, 8, 5, etc. Then find a sub 50, which means find the value of the 50th term of that sequence, which is way down the line, right? So what we want to do is we basically want to recognize that an arithmetic sequence, because it's generated by adding the same number over and over again or subtracting the same number, it's the same thing as a line. So if we can just write the equation of a line denoted by these numbers, then we've got the equation for the sequence, and then we can find any term that we want to. Let's get right into it. Number one, find the common difference. Also, look at this. It's the slope. It's the same thing. So what is the common difference? What are we doing as we go from number to number to number? Right? It looks to me like we're going down by 3, right, everybody? Okay. That's D, isn't it? That's the common difference. Now what we're saying here is it's the slope. If you recognize that an arithmetic sequence is the same thing as a line, makes it really easy. Let's go to step number 2. Find the zero term by going backwards. This is B, or the y-intercept. So what if we were to go backwards one term? What do you think that term would be? Well, if this pattern is subtracting 3, then what if we added 3? That term would have to be 17, wouldn't it? That's right. So that we can call B. I think we're ready to write the equation of this line. Let's go down to step number 3. Okay, here we go. Y equals, now remember, M is a slope, which is the same as the common difference. So we found that was be -3. X, and then B is 17. Well, I'm going to tell you what. Essentially, you have the equation of that sequence. The only thing that we need to do is turn it into sequence notation. So you won't use a Y or an X anymore. Let's check out number 4. Change into sequence notation. Y becomes A to the N. So this will be A sub N, or A to the N, equals, here's your common difference or your slope. And then it says here, X becomes N. And then you have your y-intercept. That right there, everybody, is the equation of that sequence. It's the same thing as writing the equation of a line, because an arithmetic sequence is a line. How about number 5? Find the nth term. Well, let's go back up to the original problem. And let's see here. Look what it says. It says right here, I'm going to circle it. Find a sub 50. Well, that means that in this sequence, if you could go out 50 terms, you would know that what that number is. Well, there's an easy way to do this. We can use our equation. So if I look at this equation I have above, and I want to find the 50th term, here's the way I do this. I know it's going to be -3 times 50. I'm going to substitute that from N, plus 17. Now, you can get your calculator out. You could do this mentally, whatever you want to do. But as long as you recognize that if you're being asked to find the 50th term, that will replace N. N means 50. Then you're going to be able to do this. It's going to be quite easy. Let's go ahead and try it. So this case, -3 times 50 plus 17. All right, well, that term, if we went far enough out, would be negative 133. So the 50th term, its value is negative 133. There's the answer. Now you go back up to the original problem, that makes sense. Those numbers up here are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. You definitely would be in the negative number range. Okay, let's try a couple more of these. Let's look at this sequence. So this is arithmetic as well. 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one's getting larger, larger, right? Let's go back through this process and see if we can eventually find out the 25th term. That's what's being asked in this problem. All right, everybody, find the common difference. What is it? And this is going to be the slope. What are we doing here? We're adding 1 each time, right? Now remember, that's the slope. Next step, number 2. Okay, everybody, go backwards 1 term. Go back 1 more. Where would you be? Well, if you're adding 1, take away 1. You'd be at 3, wouldn't you? Now remember, this is b, right? So we're going to say b is 3. Now let's write the equation of the line because you have everything you need. Y equals mx plus b. Switch it into sequence notation. So now it's going to be a sub n equals m. Don't use an x anymore, use an n. Just technical here. Plus b. But it's essentially the same thing, isn't it? Find the nth term. So what term did we want to find again? Let's see up here. Here it is. In sequence notation, that means find the 25th term. So I'm going to write that out using correct notation. The value of the 25th term will be 1, put 25 in for the n, and then plus 3. I don't think we even need a calculator for that, do we? I don't think so. 1 times 25 is 25 plus 3. 28 would be that term. And you know, that makes sense to me. Because if I go back to the original problem, I can see the numbers are increasing. So eventually you'd get to a larger number. All right, let's try some more. Well, what about this? This is kind of like a little story problem, but I think it's essentially the same thing. Online bidding for a purse. Hey, this is like an eBay account or something like that. It increases by $5 every bid after the first bid that was $60. Okay, so I can see all of that is denoted right here. There's the sequence, everybody. You can put little commas in here if you want. See that? That's the sequence of numbers. Above it, the bid number just tells you which term you're talking about. So let's write a function for it. Everybody find the common difference, which is the slope, and go through this by yourself and see if you can come up with the correct equation. Then we'll try to answer a question about it if we have to. All right, so what I'm looking at here is, what is that common difference? What are you doing? Well, it's actually, you're told this in the problem, but it is adding 5. So this slope right here, the common difference is 5, or in other words, the slope is 5. Okay, everybody try to find the 0 term, which means you want to go backwards. Go backwards 1 number. So if you're adding 5, take away 5, right? So you should have come up with 55. All right, so that, well, let's see here, what is this? B is 55 in this case. Now let's go ahead and write the equation. Let's see how you did with this. So it's going to be y equals the slope, x, and then the y-intercept. Finally, put it into sequence notation. So use a sub n for the y. Slope is 5, right? For the x, let's use an n. and then the y-intercept, or b. And then it says find the nth term. But in this problem, I don't even think we're being asked to find anything else. We just wanted to find that. Done. Let's move on to the last problem. All right, I want everybody to do the same thing for this. Let's see, a carnival charges $2 for each game after you pay a $5 entry fee. So, to help you out with this a little bit, here's the sequence of numbers right there, everyone. Okay, everybody go to it, write the equation for that sequence, and then we're going to have a question at the end to answer about this. All right, so here's the other question. How many games can you play if you take $29 to the carnival? So if you already have your equation written, I wonder if you can answer that. All right, let's get an equation for this. So I know the first thing I need to do is I need to find the slope, or the common difference here. It looks like we're going up by 2, right, everybody? So the slope, or the common difference, is 2. However you want to write that. And what if we go backwards one term? We should be able to find the y-intercept. So if you're adding 2, let's go back by 2. It would have to be a 5, wouldn't it? So I'm thinking that b is a 5. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my equation line. So it's going to be y equals mx plus b. Now technically what I want to do is get that in sequence notation. So that's going to look like this. A sub n equals m, no x anymore, we're going to use an n, and then plus 5. I'm going to use that formula to answer this question. Okay, how many games can you play when you take $29 to the carnival? All right, so all of these costs, these are the numbers of the sequence. Okay, the games, these are n. So $29 is going to go right here. Let's try that again. So this will be $29 is equal to 2. That n represents the game number. Okay, let's go back up here again. See that? The game number matches up with the dollar amount. And then plus 5. Okay, so now I guess we just have to solve this equation. We have to use our solving equation skills to get this done. So I would subtract 5 from both sides. Remember what to do? Divide by 2. 12 games is n. So you have to understand what these variables represent to be able to get that job done.